obviously, there is people that are putting runners in the garbage, but it's all of our responsibility to walk by and see what's going on. Obviously, those weren't contaminated runners. It's a black product, unless it was all full of grease or something, or oil from hitting the ground because of the press. But all of us are responsible for it. Okay. We need to watch it. We need to look for it. We need to ask where it came from. Again, just like we said in yesterday's, the lean thought of the day is if we ask the person why'd you put it in the garbage and they say I don't care, that's the person needs to go today. They don't want to be here. They're not showing the respect to everybody else. That's the person needs to go if they're not going to do that. So that we just got to identify that. Not one person needs to identify. We all know. All of us are responsible to identify those people. Okay. So today at 10 a.m. Royal Dye is going to be here. I don't have the improvement that Jose put on the presses for the shoots, but thank you for getting that done today before they come in. I'll have that up tomorrow so we can show those. So I want to give you, thank you very much. So we're taking care of it before they get here, okay? All right, and then also at 1 o'clock today, they have people coming through. So when you see people taking pictures, we have our building managers, people that built the building coming through to take pictures of the building. So they're going to be coming through the plant taking pictures, okay? Not of people, of how we're running the plant, okay? All right, so talking about the distribution centers, right? So the Toyota warehouses at the time were run in a familiar batch and queue mode we described in the introduction. Supervisors directed hourly workers to haul large carts of forklift loads of incoming parts from receiving area down endless aisles for bidding. The supervisors tried to ensure that the stockers were working hard when they were out of sight by giving each worker the same number of lines to stock during each shift. A line was a specific part number, for example. Bob Scott's Deluxe Chrome bumper carries Toyota's corporate part number of 002-35911, with a varying quantity of that part, perhaps only one, but sometimes hundreds. Each line could therefore involve a very different amount of work. Putting 100 spark plugs on a low shelf was a lot easier and could be completed much faster than hoisting one heavy bumper into an upper bin, yet both counted as one stocking line. Because each supervisor gave each stocker the same number of lines to complete during the shift, there were endless claims of favoritism and punitive assignments. You're giving me all the heavy bumpers because I refused to go on the night shift when you were short-handed, etc., etc., etc. What was more, it was practically impossible for supervisors to determine the cause when stockers failed to complete their runs in allotted time. Was it because the bins were too full or to hold more parts, or because of a faulty forklift, or was it just simply the matter of unsupervised workers relaxing on the job? Without accurate identification of causes, it is hard to implement remedies and improve practices. The same organization and logic regulated picking parts for the weekly shipments to dealers. In addition, there was an expediting system in place for hot list or VOR parts, which were needed the next day by dealers. Unfortunately, VOR orders often caused chaos among the pickers and slowed down the routine picks for weekly dealers' orders, and it was easy to see why. A picker would be told at the last minute to run all the way across the warehouse to get a single part to meet the air freight pickup deadline. If this need had been anticipated, the pickup would have been part of a complete circuit of the warehouse for many parts and would have been much more efficient. But perhaps the worst feature of the warehouse system in the late 1980s were size of bins. The efficient use of storage space and size of the batches ordered as replenishments. Both the bins and reorder quantities were massive, involving hundreds and thousands of parts of given type and number. This inevitably meant months of spare parts on hand and large facilities to hold them. Large facilities, in turn, were time-consuming for stockers and pickers to work their way around. All right, so a lot of that's talking about just that we're just saying a line. It'd be just like saying do a mold change, right? It should only take you 2 hours to do that mold change. Well, the mold change in a 28-ton and a 500-ton are different. So you can't just compare those two things. You have to have efficiency and system in place for each one, and they got to be different. I think Robin would be a great example to tell you too. Pull the orders for Filtran is different than pulling the orders for LK. And just because you pulled 10 orders for LK, it's not the same as pulling 10 orders for Filtran. But each one of those have to have a system to figure out how it needs to be done and what's the best way to do it. Okay? So that we really have to have a standard on how to do it. Okay?